I, I was also asked a question today that pertained to Resin Flooring International. And what is Resin Flooring International? And I guess in simple terms, how does that help me, the tradesperson sitting in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia? And I guess the best way I can address that is to take a step back and explain a little bit of the history of how it formed. And it actually dates back, I don't know, 3 or 4 years after I could see the demands, the problems that we had in this country with regard to a qualification or lack thereof. I started engaging with industry professionals all around the world and realized that there's only one country in the world that actually has an association and a qualification, and that's the UK. Everywhere else is lacking, doesn't have it. In fact, we didn't even have a common framework to be able to communicate. And when I realized that, and I could see what was happening in the Australian environment, where the federal government was starting to address the needs of a qualification in the sector, I set up a benchmark. I set up this framework. It was called Resin Flooring Network, and it was there to propose fundamental framework, so that if we're all talking thin film roll coats, here's the fundamental things we're going to talk about. And yes, every country is going to have its own, measurements. We talk in square meters and liters and so forth, whereas in the US they talk about pounds or gallons per square foot and so forth. So there was always going to be those sort of localized differences, but fundamentally we talk about the same thing, whether it's thin film roll coats or thin film broadcast, trowel downs, high build, decorative, 2mm SLs or thicker film SLs and so forth. So, and self-levelers, sorry. And so if we had this common framework that we could all utilize and communicate, then when we have one qualification set up as per that framework, other countries, other entities, other companies, other education organizations could utilize that same framework, and we could actually collaborate internationally using that same framework. So that's what we did. We set up Resin Flooring Network. It was the framework. We had a lot of engagement from all around the world. I think it's 5,000 views, all sorts of comments, feedback, likes, shares, and so forth, to get genuine feedback from all around the world. And that still sits on that framework. We've since renamed it to Resin Flooring International, and I invited members from all around the world, from all different sectors, from all different countries, to be a part of that. It's a voluntary basis to be a part of it, to kind of contribute and oversee and help it evolve. It will become more formal. For the moment, it's the good-hearted nature of these people that have been in the industry for a long time, silverbacks in many ways, like people that are prepared to share their knowledge. And it's them just wanting to see this industry evolve. And they believe that a common framework is possible in this industry. And in fact, the Australian qualification is the first qualification, like federal qualification, to have adopted that framework. So we're off to a flying start. It's something that's going to translate across other countries, different trades in different countries, and as a whole industry, we will evolve much faster by having this collaborative platform rather than splintered organisations repeating the same errors and learning the same ways. So that's what Resin Flooring International is all about. It's an invaluable step to building or achieving this fundamental vision of making resin flooring mainstream. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions on this matter, then please just ask or go to resinflooringinternational.com. Take a look there. There's a bit of detail on there that'll help to explain what it's about. I'm Resin Jack. As always, take care and keep smiling.